doing well out there. This is a quick review of the Defender 110 1993. This is our van, as you may have known in previous videos. Check up here. I thought I'd have a look, let you know how our experience has been. Our van is now 26 years old, and to let you know what things are like. First of all, you can hear that in the background. That's the gearbox. It's been whining like that since we got it. Which was about 50,000 kilometers ago. We're on the highway now. The engine is humming along. The old TDI, it's done 335,000 kilometers. It's had a hard life. But now on the highway we're doing nearly 100, between 95 and 100 kilometers an hour. This is what it sounds like. It's pretty smooth. I really love the engine. It's really got a lot of character. I think it suits the vehicle really well. It doesn't have much power. In fact, on the hills on the highway, we're struggling to keep up with the trucks, which is quite amusing sometimes. But also, it doesn't have too much power that gets you into trouble. It doesn't really leak that much oil, the engine, which might be a surprise to you guys. What does leak is the transfer box. The factory ran that dry the other time, a few weeks ago, and luckily that was the cause of this really strange vibration and this funny sound. So we thought we'd break off our trip and refill the box, and that has helped a lot. The gearbox is the old LT77. It's not the strongest gearbox, as you may know. However, it is still going. The reverse gear has a really strange noise, and even now while we're running along on the highway, it's got this really high-pitched whine. Sure if things are okay, but it hasn't let us down, right? For the rest of it, it has had a hard life. This vehicle specifically, the previous owner did a lot of off-road travel expeditions, and it's even been to Mongolia and back, which is probably one of the toughest trips you can do. The other thing is the seats are showing their age. Actually, they're feeling their age. They're pretty hard and quite uncomfortable. You do feel a bit broken when you come out of a long trip, but it hasn't worn yet. It's sorry, it's still in good nick, I would say. The interior, the dashboard, the steering wheel has worn away. The rim is exactly where your fingers are at 12 o'clock. That shows its age a little bit. Might be the same for others. You let me know down below. Really love to get one of those thin rimmed ones again, but I'm struggling to find one. So if you know which one is, let us know, man. The gear change, it's as clunky as ever. Sorry, got a bit of a cold. It's between seasons here. Anyway, the gear change is a bit clunky. I have to say, it needs a bit of help. You obviously need to play with the clutch and the revs a little bit to get a smooth gear change. I think it's getting on a bit. I'm not sure what to do with it yet. Do we replace the gearbox, which is a bit of a time issue, or do we just carry on and see what happens? So at the moment I'm just driving very carefully, not forcing it, not driving too fast. For the rest of it, everything is holding up. The electrics are still all working, which is maybe an interesting fact for you guys out there in Lucas land. Put on the indicators, they actually do what they're told. The lights come on and all of that stuff, so that's all good. The bodywork is not too bad. It has had a lot of modifications through the years. That paneling, the interior has been built up as well. and just take a drink. That's better. But besides that, the only thing we have is a dent on the front right wing, which I don't know where that came from. And that's basically it. So that stood up pretty well on that front. On the front axle we have had the swivels done. I've done that twice now, I think. They were leaking a lot. We had huge issues with death wobble, death shake, and that came down to all the bushes on the van being worn out completely. And in fact you can see it on my other video where I have a little bit of fun at the Defender's expense. And so replacing the pitman arm bushes twice or 3 times has gotten rid of the death wobble. However, I haven't gotten around to doing the rear A-frame ball joint, which you can maybe hear now. Every time you hit a bump it clunks and it carries on like anything. So yeah, besides the fact that we need to do the maintenance and keep up the service and change the oil and all of that, the vehicle has actually held up pretty well, you know. I'm going to debunk that myth that says that Defenders are unreliable. This one hasn't let us down in any way. If it will in the future, it may be my own fault for not doing the preventative maintenance. But basically we're pretty happy with it. What else has gone wrong is the brakes. Yeah, that's one issue with the Defender maybe, of this age. I cooked the brakes in the Alps once, going downhill, suddenly the pedals on the floor, and it wasn't very amusing at the time. But after an hour they cooled down and we could carry on, we had our brakes back. It just shows you that your braking effort in this vehicle is not quite there if you really need it. It's a heavy vehicle. This one has drums at the back, maybe that doesn't help the cause as well. The rest, the handbrake works. Yeah, there's a lot of play in the transmission. I'm not sure if that's the gearbox or the transfer box or the front and rear axles, which may be that. Although the half shafts do look good, the splines are still in good order. I think it's a 24 spline, this model. We've got a few dings in the front windscreen. It doesn't seem to affect the roadworthy report somehow, so I don't know how that works, but I'm happy with that. Either way, it's not a big thing to replace, it's not expensive at all. Our tires are the BFG muds. They came with the vehicle along with another set of Nang Kang off-road tires, which we drove until they were finished. Now the BF Goodriches are basically done, so I'm looking for a replacement. Maybe you can give me an idea down below where I can get some tires, some pretty good tires for not too expensive a price, because the BFGs do cost a little bit of money, especially when you're replacing 4 of them. The doors, they don't close very smoothly, not like the newer Defenders. You need to really slam it, mostly twice. The back door has a spare wheel carrier aftermarket, which does help the cause. It just closes quite easily and it stays closed. As I said, the engine's not too bad. It's not using much oil. It's cooling now, which is better. We had a problem with the radiator. The original radiator had a water leak. One of the, I think where the hose goes in, that part on the radio was completely gone. So I replaced it with a Brit part one, which you might find amusing. I went to the garage, they put it in for me, and a week later we had an oil leak, and it turns out the oil cooler part had a leak from Brit part from the factory. So I was debating whether to send it back, and that would have been difficult, so I got another one which was Bearmark, which basically looks like the same packaging, the same radiator, different sticker on it, so I'm not sure what that means. But this one's fine, cooling's great, everything's working as it should. There's a lot of play in the steering. If we talk about steering, 20 degrees either way on the highway, and it doesn't affect where you're going. It might have a little bit to do with the ball joint on the A-frame at the back. Once we replace that, we'll have another look and see how it drives in that case. It might be better. I don't know what to do with it. Maybe you can give me some ideas down below how to get the play out of your steering, or is it just something you live with? And I'm saying that because our work van is 2015 and there's no play at all. You can actually let go of the steering on the highway, which is not advisable in this one. So yeah, the flaps are still working. They're leaking as most other Defenders do too. I don't know what to do about that either. It's something you live with, which is a reason why you need to wear flip-flops, especially in a rain shower, right? The other side of that is a lot of Defenders have the front bulkhead, a lot of rust on that. I think we're lucky with this one. It's obviously not an English car, and English weather will just eat away any car. Here it's been in quite a dry environment all its life, and it's been in the deserts on expeditions, and that's pretty dry out there too, right? So we don't have any problems with the rust, which is also a nice thing. This isn't one that just gets let out on the weekend. This is a daily driver that's had a hard life. Taking that into consideration, all we really have is a few oil drips from the transfer case, a whining gearbox, a bit of smoke when you start the car. On the engine topic, I would say it's lost some of its 107 horsepower. I'm thinking we're more like 90 at the moment. Really struggle up the hill. Our other TDI was a lot more punchy, but it was a 90, so I don't know how much difference that makes. Either way, it starts with the flick of a key, it runs, brakes work, it gets through the road worthy every year. I think that's about it, as far as I can tell right now. Just this quick little review, just to let you know what, an old Defender still goes pretty well after these years, and you just need to be a little bit careful with what you do with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this mini review. I thought I'd just let you know my thoughts as we drive back from our little getaway at the coast. Let us know down below what you think. Maybe give us your thoughts, love to hear from you. Have a good one out there, guys, and keep rolling.